Secure individuals approach avoidant partners with a unique combination of emotional stability, clear boundaries, and strategic understanding that either transforms the avoidant into someone capable of genuine intimacy or quickly identifies them as incompatible partners. Unlike anxious types who pursue harder when faced with avoidance, secure people maintain their center while creating conditions that make emotional growth feel safe rather than threatening. Their approach is both compassionate and uncompromising. They don't take avoidant behavior personally. Secure people understand that avoidant patterns stem from childhood wounds and defensive programming rather than reflecting anything about their own worthiness or the relationship's potential. This psychological separation allows them to respond strategically rather than reactively to avoidant behavior. When their avoidant partner withdraws, becomes distant, or sends mixed signals, secure individuals interpret these behaviors as information about their partner's emotional state rather than evidence of rejection or disinterest. This perspective prevents them from spiraling into anxiety or pursuing behaviors that typically reinforce avoidant patterns. This non-personal approach allows them to maintain emotional stability while their partner works through their defensive responses, creating space for the avoidant to return to connection without feeling pressured or judged. They maintain consistent emotional availability without chasing. Secure people provide steady emotional availability while refusing to chase or pursue their avoidant partner during withdrawal periods. They remain open and accessible without becoming desperate or clingy, demonstrating reliability without sacrificing their dignity. This consistency includes continuing to express care and affection at sustainable levels while allowing their partner space to process their emotions and defensive responses. They don't increase or decrease their emotional investment based on their partner's availability. The steady presence without pursuit creates psychological safety for avoidance because they can withdraw without losing access to love while learning that connection doesn't require them to sacrifice their autonomy or overwhelm their emotional system. They communicate needs clearly without emotional manipulation. When secure people have needs that aren't being met, they express them directly and calmly without using guilt, threats, or emotional manipulation to force compliance. They state their requirements clearly while giving their partner freedom to choose how to respond. This direct communication includes explaining how avoidant behaviors affect them without making their partner responsible for managing their emotions. They own their feelings while requesting specific behavioral changes that would improve the relationship. The absence of manipulation makes it safe for avoidants to hear feedback about their behavior without triggering defensive responses, creating opportunities for genuine understanding and voluntary change rather than forced compliance. They set and enforce boundaries without drama. Secure individuals establish clear boundaries about what behavior they will and won't accept, then enforce these limits through calm action rather than emotional threats or ultimatums. They make it clear that certain behaviors have natural consequences without creating dramatic confrontations. These boundaries often include limits on how much emotional unavailability they'll tolerate, requirements for basic respect and consideration, and expectations about communication during difficult periods. They enforce these boundaries through withdrawal of their own investment rather than punitive actions. The calm boundary enforcement teaches avoidance that actions have consequences without creating the drama and conflict that typically trigger their withdrawal responses. This approach makes accountability feel manageable rather than overwhelming. They provide emotional regulation without enabling. Secure people offer emotional stability and regulation to their avoidant partners without becoming codependent or enabling dysfunctional behavior. They provide calm presence during emotional storms while maintaining expectations for their partner's growth and development. This regulation includes remaining centered during their partner's emotional dysregulation, offering comfort without fixing, and providing perspective without taking responsibility for their partner's emotional management. They're supportive without being rescuing. The balance between support and accountability helps avoidants develop their own emotional regulation skills while feeling safe to experience vulnerability without being overwhelmed by their feelings or their partner's reactions. They don't compromise their own needs for relationship harmony. Unlike anxious partners who sacrifice their needs to maintain connection, secure people maintain their requirements for emotional reciprocity, consistency, and genuine intimacy while allowing their partner time to develop these capacities. This includes continuing to express their need for emotional closeness, regular communication, and relationship progression while giving their partner space to grow into these capabilities at a sustainable pace. They don't abandon their needs, but they don't force immediate compliance. The maintained standards create motivation for avoidance to develop relationship skills, while preventing the secure partner from becoming resentful or depleted by consistently giving more than they receive. They use natural consequences rather than punishment. When avoidant behavior damages the relationship, secure people allow natural consequences to occur rather than creating artificial punishments or threats. They might become less available, reduce their investment, or create distance as natural responses to poor treatment. These consequences feel organic rather than manipulative, because they reflect genuine changes in the secure person's feelings and investment level, rather than strategic attempts to control their partner's behavior. The natural consequences help avoidants understand the real impact of their behavior without triggering their defensiveness against manipulation or control, making behavior change feel like personal choice rather than forced compliance. They maintain their own life and identity. Secure people don't organize their entire existence around their avoidant partner's emotional availability or relationship participation. They maintain their own interests, friendships, and life satisfaction independent of their partner's contribution to their happiness. This independence prevents them from becoming clingy or demanding when their partner needs space, while also ensuring they don't become depleted by pouring excessive energy into someone who may not be capable of reciprocating. The maintained independence makes them attractive to avoidance, while protecting them from the emotional exhaustion that often comes with loving someone who struggles with intimacy. They can walk away when necessary. Perhaps most importantly, secure people maintain the ability to end relationships that aren't serving their well-being, regardless of their feelings for their partner. They can love someone deeply while recognizing that love isn't enough to sustain unhealthy dynamics. This willingness to leave creates genuine consequences for continued avoidant behavior while ensuring the secure person doesn't waste years trying to change someone who isn't ready or willing to grow. The transformation or revelation effect. Secure handling of avoidant partners typically results in one of two outcomes. The avoidant feels safe enough to begin developing intimacy skills and starts moving towards security themselves, or their limitations become so apparent that ending the relationship feels like the obvious choice. Secure people handle avoidant partners by maintaining their center, providing stability without enabling, and creating conditions where growth feels safe, while maintaining standards that prevent them from accepting substandard treatment indefinitely.